The fallout from Shohei Ohtan signing that $700 million contract with the Dodgers, or at least he's set to do that, is starting to reverberate across the world of Major League Baseball. But I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that the Cubs didn't sign Ohtani for $700 million. It's a lot of money for a guy that's coming off of an arm injury, and it's a 10-year deal. Where's he going to be in 5 years, let alone 6, 7, 8, or even 10? We're going to talk about what the Cubs' next move is and how things are going to look moving forward. But first, let me thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillispie. Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel, and let's talk some Cubs baseball. I'm at Broadcaster Mick. All right, bottom line is this. Would you have liked to have signed Shohei Ohtan? Well, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want the Japanese Babe Ruth? And even when you compare the Bambino to what Ohtani's doing right now, Ohtani is a superstar pitcher and a power hitter at the same time. It was like Babe Ruth was a pitcher, a superstar pitcher, and then a hitter. But he really wasn't both at the same time like Ohtani's doing right now. So he's kind of, in a league of his own, Ohtani. But $700 million for one player is a lot of money. And the guy's coming off of an arm injury. It's his second Tommy John. He's not even going to pitch this year. You don't know what this is going to look like next year, let alone 5 or 10 years down the line. And I get it. He generates a lot of revenue with, the love that he gets from Japan and around the world of baseball. But $700 million to me is just way too much for one guy when you don't know how they're going to kind of be able to survive health-wise for over a decade, right? So what's the next move for the Cubs? Where are we going from here? I think it goes back to Cody Bellinger. And you may be in the mix with some teams that you just kind of duked it out with. Take the Yankees out of this because they made the trade for Juan Soto. So they're set to go. They sent 5 prospects to the Padres, and they're out of this mix. Dodgers, they're not going to pay for him, although he was on their team already. They never really were interested in bringing him back. He's not in there. Who are the teams, if I'm the Cubs and I'm really serious about bringing Cody Bellinger in, that I'm worried about? Maybe Toronto. Out of nowhere, the Blue Jays became a player in this Ohtani sweepstakes. And if they were a pawn in Ohtani's game just to try to get the price up in his deal, well, they did a good job of that. I never really seriously thought that Shohei Ohtan was going to go to Toronto. It's one of the least sought after places to play in the league, right? No offense to anyone in Toronto, but I just can't imagine if you had your pick that you're going, you know what, I want to play in Toronto unless you're from Canada, right? Maybe some guys that were born there would want to play there. But besides that, I've always kind of felt like, they're kind of the outside looking in. But they came with the big bucks, and they've got a young team with some talent. And, Ohtani, he kind of flirted with them a little bit. They may go after Bellinger. And I'm sure if Scott Boras was my agent and he sees this deal that Ohtani got, he's going, well, hey, we're the next best thing on the market. What if we get $500 million, or what if we get $450 million? That would seem like it would be an outrageous contract. And it would also kind of feel like maybe that was out of the realm of what he's valued at right now, but anything's possible. Chad said yesterday on our show that it almost feels like the real estate bubble from, how many years ago, where these contracts really just don't match the market. Some of these deals were done, and when we started getting into these high dollars, it was because of the television revenue. But I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, the TV revenue's going this way, not this way, right? So if you're an organization, you really just have to make smart investments. And you want guys that are going to be able to make the money back that you're spending. So Cody Bellinger obviously is a great player, but how far are you going to go outside of your comfort zone of spending, knowing that the TV deals right now are kind of very shaky ground, right? The Dodgers, though, were the one team that seems to have this thing locked down, and the timing of their deal and where the TV market was and linear TV back when they put this together, it's a different world now. They kind of hit it at the right time, where the Cubs did the Marquee Network, and it was like they were waiting on getting all of the assets together to put them in a bundle and then build this network that they have. And they kind of just missed that, kind of that happy zone for making a bunch of money. The Dodgers didn't. And, and they obviously aren't afraid to spend, because they're getting so much money back in TV revenue. So I'm thinking that the Cubs are going to have to deal with Toronto. And I think the other team that you got to keep an eye on are the San Francisco Giants. Bellinger's old arch rivals when he was in L.A. They're looking for that next guy. They went out and brought in a new manager, Bob Melvin. They want to go out and win some games. And they're looking for that guy to replace, I really feel like Buster Posey, a future Hall of Famer and the catcher on their 3 World Championship teams back in their dynasty days when they had Bruce Bochy as their manager. They don't really have that piece right now. And I'm guessing that Bellinger may be someone that they go after. They were in the Ohtani sweepstakes. They came up short just like the Cubs, and I could see them in the mix. I think that the Cubs would love to have him back, but it's just going to really depend on what the market is. I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. If I'm the Cubs, where I'm looking right now, besides the fact that you would really love to have that superstar bat in the lineup, is pitching. Because the one area in this organization where they really don't have that, and I don't know how many times I've said this, but they just don't have that next thing up, is starting pitching. So this is the area where they're going to have to go out and spend. Where do they go for this? Blake Snell, obviously, the guy with the Padres last year, Cy Young winner. Do you go to Yakamoto? Is that someone that you're feeling pretty comfortable with? I mean, what's his number going to be now? When you see that they just spent $700 million to bring in Otani, is $300 million going to be enough for a guy that won Japan's MVP for 3 straight years? And the Dodgers are kind of saying, hey, don't count us out. We may, we've kind of back-ended the contract with Otani. Maybe we're going to be in it as well, which would be so interesting to me. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could the Cubs go after Jordan Montgomery? We saw what he could do in the postseason with the Rangers, but that was kind of like the best of the best for him. Is he ready to be elite, or is he the guy that was, middle of the road, good in the past? Not great, but middle of the road good. Obviously that's a question that the Cubs are going to have to answer. The other names that you got to think about too for the Cubs in free agency is Matt Chapman. Are they going to be interested in Matt Chapman, the former A, and then obviously with the Blue Jays last year, now he's a free agent? If you're thinking that Matt Shaw is ready to be the everyday third baseman, I mean, it could happen, but the problem is the guy hasn't played a lot of third base. I mean, dipped his toe in the waters last year, but he's got a lot of work to do before he's going to be ready to take that spot. B.J. Armstrong, who was in the Futures game in the Cubs organization, is another guy that you could look at and say, hey, maybe eventually he's a guy that could take over third base, played a lot of third. He's going to be in AAA Iowa this year. How's that going to turn around? Great eye. But is he ready to take that spot? If you sign Chapman, you're going to probably have to give him some years So the problem is if you're the Cubs, you put him at third base and you sign him, then all of a sudden now you're blocking another position. So now you got second base, shortstop, and third base blocked. And who knows what they're going to do at first base. And so when you have a farm system with a bunch of guys that could potentially make an impact at the big league level, you got all these guys blocked. So that's another area to keep an eye on, as we move forward. How many of you guys would be comfortable with Marcus Stroman coming back on a multi-year deal? I think he definitely showed us what he could do. He was an all-star in the first half of the season, and in the second half of the season, had an earned run average over 8. I don't think people liked the, dollar sign in the mound when he was pitching. And I think it turned some people off in that capacity. But the thing is when the guy's healthy and he's pitching and doing his thing, he's a great ground ball pitcher, and you take advantage of that excellent infield that the Cubs have and their great defense. So that's where we are right now. Look, this week is going to really show us kind of where things are going. It's all about now pivoting past Ohtani and moving forward. And I say this, and I mean this. I just think that spending $700 million for Shohei Ohtan is not a smart investment. It's a 10-year deal. Where is he going to be in 5 years? Where is he going to be in 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 years? We're already seeing his body break down. I mean, he's coming off of a second Tommy John surgery. Is he an elite player? Yeah. I mean, is he the best player in baseball right now? Sure. But that's a ton of money that you can go out and buy some pitching. You can go out and get some guys to help your team win. And it takes, a 26 guy roster to be successful. One guy in the NBA can make you a really good team. One guy in Major League Baseball can't. I mean, it takes a whole team. So that's why I've said, to me, the Cubs not paying this guy $700 million for 10 years, I thought was really the best investment. But I know some of you guys differ. Hey, get on the comment section. Tell me what you think. This is going to be a really fun week to see where the Cubs kind of move from Ohtani and start to dig into the next step of what are they going to do to make this team better. I think that Bellinger is going to be the next hot name, because now that Ohtani's off, he's the next best available free agent. And then don't forget about trades as well. A couple of things I want to tell you about. First off, let me say that this channel is proudly presented by Modern Lending. Our friend Chad Anderson at Modern Lending is always available to answer your questions. He's helped over 10,000 families get into homes or businesses. He's an investment consultant and an Airbnb expert. So check him out. That's Chad Anderson at Modern Lending. The second thing is the Tennessee Smokies, the AA affiliate. Look at this right here, this sweet hoodie. They're the AA champions in the Southern League, the first championship they've won in 45 years, going back to Tony La Russa and Harold Baines as minor leaguers. Yeah, they want you guys to go check out their latest gear. They've got Christmas ornaments, they've got jerseys, they've got game used equipment, and they've got great swag as well. So go there, smokiesbaseball.com/store, and find out for yourself. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Go Cubs.